Blog Talk Radio.
Hi, this is Vincent, the talent and brains behind this show, and you're listening to Sunday Night Dead. And Matt, because he's got the quote-unquote radio voice, bastard.
Vincent, it's not Sunday night, it's Thursday Night Dead. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining me this evening. I'm Matthew Slozer from Autumn Moon Paranormal here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and I am normally the host of Sunday Night Dead on Sunday evenings here on Dead Air, but am substituting here tonight on a Thursday night, so we're calling this a encore presentation of Sunday Night Dead. We will call it Thursday Night Dead. A lot going on today. Got the debate, we got football on, we got baseball on, but that's all stuff that you can DVR. Come join us tonight because we're going to be talking Halloween stuff, horror movies, which is always a great topic this time of year. I want to talk about what people consider the best movies out there. It doesn't necessarily have to be the scariest, just what are some of the best ones for different reasons, and it'll be interesting to hear what people say about that. And then another topic, if anyone is willing to kind of dive in here, is the whole, I don't know, it might just be where I live, but in this part of the country, you know, there's always a lot of controversy associated with Halloween, so I wanted to get people to weigh in on this. The whole Halloween holiday, harmless fall fun, or deep, dark, satanic holiday. So anyone wants to weigh in on that, feel free to do so. The number is 646-929-2384. You can also log into the chat room and send any questions in on there. But I'm sure somebody would rather call in at some point here because you will get tired of hearing me talk this evening. We do have a special guest probably around 9:30 that will be calling in to give their insight into ghosts, the ghost shows, and their favorite horror movies as well, but I will keep the identity of that person a surprise tonight. For the Paranormal Kool-Aid folks on Wednesday, it is not the Chupacabra, and it is not Bigfoot, so this is somebody different. If anyone listens to those shows, you know that on Wednesday nights, the Kool-Aid crew get quite an interesting array of callers that call in that show as well. I don't know if you guys have noticed this. I'm just going to go ahead and put out an observation kind of out there in Facebook land. I don't know if it's just the how ornery and kind of nasty everyone is getting with the political stuff that's going on or what, but it seems like paradrama is just getting nastier and nastier the last week or two. I've seen some just massive egos being thrown around cyberspace the last week or two, so I'm not really sure what the deal is with that. If anyone knows me or has listened to any of my shows before on here, you know that I'm not a big fan of that, and I'm not really a big fan of the egos and the people that are trying to put everyone else down and have everybody do things the way they would prefer to do so. So anyway, I see John Coghill out there. I see William from Autumn Moon out in the chat room there. Feel free to call in, guys, if you would like to call in and chat with us tonight. I'm going to kind of kick off with the, you guys are kind of a captive audience here with the horror movies that I like. So I'm going to kind of hit down a couple of them. One that does not get covered a lot, but I have to say I always thought was a good one that was very underrated is, this is from the late 80s, and that would be John Carpenter's Prince of Darkness, which is the thing where it's kind of like the Antichrist in a bottle that gets loose, and I got to tell you that the girl in that movie that gets more or less possessed. They do a great makeup job with her. She looks freaky as all get out. And there's a surprise scene at the end, and I have to say it's the only surprise scene that has ever really caught me off guard, that made me really jump in the theater. And it was very long ago, and it was on a date, so it was kind of funny when it doesn't score good points when you're the one who jumps 3 feet in the middle of a horror movie here. Well, we have a caller. Let's see who is joining us this evening. Welcome to Thursday Night Dead. Who am I speaking with?
Hey, Matt, this is Will. How we doing?
Hey, everybody. William Howell, my fellow investigator from Autumn Moon. Good to talk to you this evening. So I have to add, the other thing, too, I want to mention about horror movies is, and I'll be at a little disadvantage here depending on how many horror movie buffs are out there. I have determined as I started doing these paranormal investigations that, I knew I had quite a vivid imagination, and so I decided that once I started walking around alone, or at least in parts of buildings alone, these old asylums and things like that, I didn't need any additional images popping into my head. So I've actually stopped for the most part watching horror movies, because the last thing I need is to start getting images of the Grudge girl or the Ring girl or something when I'm down in some dark hallway somewhere. Not that those, I know William's investigated with me. I know John Coghill, that's out there, has investigated with me. Not that that ever stops me. I'm certainly not shy or chicken to go into any of these places, but I decided, the less ammo I give my imagination, the better. So I haven't actually watched any in a while, so I guess my list is going to be dated, probably cut off probably in the early 2000s as far as horror movies go here. So anyone out there that has some more recent ones that are pretty good, I'd be interested to hear those as well. So what's going on with you, Mr. William?
Not a lot. I had a long day at work, so I'm just sitting back taking it easy. I'm like you with the horror movies. I used to be a big diehard buff. I got a story to tell that when my wife and I were dating, the first time she came over and, she got to see my bedroom, it was covered in horror posters from floor to ceiling, and was kind of shocked to her, but kind of a darker side of my days. So, but yep, it was fun, and I've kind of, I guess maybe age has caught up with me, but kind of laid back on them as well, But I have to say that some of the nicer ones that I've seen in the past, The Grudge is a big one on my list, just due to the director's take on it and special effects, but it's definitely high on my list as, a good one. But
I just have to quick add here while we're on The Grudge, because it's actually The Grudge has been the one that actually got me to stop watching the horror movies on the investigations, and the reason why is, and I don't think you were on this investigation with us, but you'll remember this story. There was a private investigation that we went on, and this one still sticks in my mind out of all the places as the creepiest place. And when I got home from this one, I had told my wife that, if they were all like this, I probably would stop doing it, because just the discomfort level on doing this one was just not cool. But we had rules, obviously not to split up. This was something that at least appeared to be hostile. Not going to say anything inhuman, but definitely something a little more aggressive. And so we didn't, we just had a rule not to split up, and it wasn't that big of a place. But it was interesting, because we'd be going down the hallway, and you would hear from rooms that nobody's in, like, psst, hey, hey. And nobody was in these rooms. And then there was a story about claims that somebody else that was in there that was sensitive said that there was energy in the attic, and that they released it, or I forget what the whole story was. But anyway, so we opened up the attic, and going up in the attic, I have to say that I cannot go up into a attic crawl space without thinking of that really first scene with the not what's her name? Not Sarah Michelle Gellar, but the other nursing student that comes to visit at the house and goes up into the crawl space, and not to give it away from other people, but kind of a really bad thing happens. Yeah, kind of a bad thing happens to her when she goes up the crawl space. So I got to say, I cannot go up into an attic crawl space without that scene popping into my head. So anyway, so that's going on. Scene pops into my head. I get up into the attic, and I hear plain as day from the back of the attic a woman's voice saying, "Matthew." Now, I got to tell you, there's no, again, the rule was we weren't splitting up, so there was no way in hell I was, going to go wandering into the back of an attic solo. So, we went up, two of us were up there. We did the flashlights. We checked out the whole place. There's no woman up there, so really kind of freaky. And I've actually played some of the audio of this one before. That's the one where we have tape of the homeowner referring to us as the boys. And I've played it on the show before. We've had the voice with kind of the nasty hiss doing the "go home, boys." So one of the freakier places, and that's what got me to think twice about watching horror movies. And it was mainly because of The Grudge. So have you ever seen, have you ever seen Prince of Darkness?
Let's see. I'm trying to think. Is that the one with the graveyard scene?
That is the one. The best way I can describe it, and it's kind of an odd thing, but it's one of these underrated ones that I really like.
Yeah.
It's the one where they shoot water out of their mouth.
Yes, I think I've seen it a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a late '80s one. So actually, Alice Cooper was in that. He was a homeless person, kind of there was like this little killer band of like homeless people surrounding the church there. So that is a good one. I see John Coghill saying he has not seen that yet. So I will not give it away. There are actually some pretty good surprise scenes in it. Again, we're not talking Steven Spielberg phenomenal direction here in this. It is a horror movie and kind of written that way, but it is definitely one that I think is worth seeing and kind of one of the more underrated horror movies out there. So definitely one that I would put up on the list. Another one, the one that everyone always comes up with, and I got to put a qualifier on this one, is obviously everyone points out The Exorcist that I talk to when they talk about Halloween movies, and I guess it's just because I have all these, because I have 5 kids and like kids, and the whole thing about what we do, and everyone's always asking you, aren't you afraid of bringing things home? Aren't you afraid of bringing things home? I just, that one's a little too disturbing. I do not enjoy watching that one. So if I had it's not even a scary, that it scares me or anything like that, but if I was having a Halloween party and getting a bunch of horror movies for that, I don't know. That one just kind of bugs me. I don't know what your thoughts on The Exorcist are.
Yeah, that one, I watched that one, I guess it came out when I was a teenager, so yeah, that one kind of freaked me out the first time, but definitely a good one. I'm teenager through the 80s, so I'm, with the Hellraisers and the Pumpkinheads and those type horrors at the time. So...
Oh, I gotta say, Leprechaun. That's probably the dumbest. That's probably the dumbest one I've ever. And we never even made it. I mean, there's a few movies that I don't at least tolerate sitting through and stuff, and we rented that one. But I think I only made about 20 minutes in it when he popped out of the. I forget, there was some kitchen scene, and he popped out of a closet like the Lucky Charms elf, and killed somebody. I'm like, this is the dumbest movie I've ever seen. So that definitely ranks up there as well. You are in North Carolina as well. We live fairly close to each other, so you know the whole deal on this. So, the one thing I'll point out, and it happened last year, because whenever Halloween falls on a Sunday, there's this whole big controversy, particularly around here, about whether they can have trick-or-treat and all these, issues, and there's generally this some level of controversy that always picks up around the holiday. So, again, I wanted to kind of kick out for everyone out there, because I've heard the whole spectrum of this, of just, harmless fall fun to, some people that believe if you let your kids dress up and go out trick-or-treating, you're sending them off to the devil. So kind of curious on your thoughts there, William, and anyone else out there that wants to weigh in on that one as well.
Well, my thoughts to this is you celebrate it on the day that it is. I understand, a lot of churches, they do a morning service and an evening service, and it kind of interferes with that and stuff. But from the time our kids could go trick-or-treating, or even when we took them around to family when they were babies, we've always celebrated it on the day it was. And, me personally, we don't throw any satanic stuff into it. For us, it's go out and get candy. Same way when I was growing up, parents said dress up, come back, at a certain time, and you came back with a pillowcase full of candy, And, during the weeks following up to it, we'd always go out and do the haunted houses and things that were in the area, trails, hay rides, things like that. So to us, it's just like a normal holiday to us. We don't celebrate it any different than any other. We don't dance around the cauldron or anything like that and chant, but, we do enjoy the candy. So.
Gotcha. No sacrificing chickens at the Howell household.
No. You may see a stray one run around every once in a while, but other than that.
Well, the one where I always go to on this is then I always go to 4th of July. So, when the 4th of July falls on a Sunday and they do the whole, Sunday evening church services and things like that, I never hear of a controversy over that. And I never hear of this, we can't do fireworks on Sunday night because it's going to interrupt the church services and things. So I just... some of the arguments I hear coming out on that, and actually anyone who knows me too, I just for entertainment, I really probably come across more opinionated on some of these things than I actually am. I just like to get some people fired up just for entertainment.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago I had this thing on here about how we should ban the 4th of July as well as Halloween because it was founded on it's celebrating bloodshed, and I had this whole thing out there about how the 4th of July is just as offensive as Halloween, on a Sunday and things. And again, it was totally tongue-in-cheek and just completely meant just to piss people off. But I don't get it. It's and at least from my standpoint. And again, I don't mean to. Kind of one of my rules whenever I do these shows too is respectful of all beliefs here, whether you believe agree with those beliefs or not. A lot of Christian holidays, as the Church evolved, were the dates that were selected and things like that corresponded with other holidays that already existed, and so Halloween is the eve of All Saints' Day. And that also, and I'm going to probably pronounce it wrong, but there's the Samhain or Samhain, and some other fall holidays, just kind of representing the harvest coming in and the coming of winter. And so the date selected just kind of corresponded with a bunch of those different things. It doesn't mean that when you're going out trick or treating, you're doing something satanic, and it's not even that those other rituals were necessarily satanic in the first place. I mean, obviously there's a bunch of different interpretations of different things out there, so again, some people like to paint with a very broad brush on these things and kind of throw it all into one big category, but again, it doesn't mean putting a jack-o'-lantern on your front porch means that you're worshiping the devil, which is funny. We had a neighbor where we used to live, still here in North Carolina. And my daughter, she was like in first grade, and she came home in tears because these two kids on the bus, we had our house all decorated, and they were telling her that she was celebrating the devil's birthday and that she was worshiping the devil and all those kind of stuff. So she was getting all upset about this. But what was ironic was a year later, these same two kids that were giving her a hard time over that we had an issue with them actually stealing money from one of my other kids. So, I guess, thou shalt not have pumpkins in thy front yard is one thing, but thou shalt not steal is optional. So it's just something I found a little bit interesting. And where I'm from, and John can probably weigh in on this as well, up in eastern Pennsylvania. Not very controversial at all. I mean, it does come up, but it's not very controversial. And I mean, it gets it's almost like as far as the amount of decorations, it's almost like Christmas. I mean, it gets there are some towns that are just incredibly decked out with it, and the big costume parades. My hometown, Emmaus. I think this Saturday, it's usually like the second Saturday of the month. They have a big parade downtown, and I have great memories of that as a kid, both watching it and then also being in it, going through there and stuff. So just an interesting thing. So it was one of the larger, I shouldn't say larger, but one of the interesting culture shocks I had when I moved down here 8 years ago was the whole, and actually the first Halloween here fell on a Sunday. So I totally was caught off guard by the controversy of it. So
yeah, it's one of the things around here, that, if it falls on a Sunday, they want to move it to a Saturday or move it to a different day, just accommodate, the Sunday crowd. But me personally, we've always just celebrated it on the day that it was.
I got to check and see. Next time 4th of July falls on a Sunday. I'm totally clueless right now calendar-wise. I guess I just missed it because I think it was Monday last year. Oh, no, I think leap year killed it. So I think we missed it because of leap year. So I got to watch. I got to remember this because it's going to be years down the road. But I'll have to start a whole campaign about that, about moving the fireworks to the 5th, the 3rd or the 5th, for using the same reasons as the not having trick-or-treat on a Sunday night, and see how that goes. So John's commenting about haunted hayrides and people making money off that. Yeah, I'm actually have been in a. I'm not sure whether how I'm going to do this year, or if I'm going to do it this year, but the last couple of years I've been in a haunted hayride, and I'm a pretty scary-looking person to begin with, and so then I put all the makeup and stuff on, and basically get to hide in this one area and come out screaming at people, and it was interesting. I think I had by their own admission, which I'm surprised people actually yell this stuff out, but I think I had about 6 confirmed people wet themselves, and not all kids, on the surprise. So it's a pretty interesting surprise factor there. So I love the haunted hayrides too, and I don't go, though, because I even had the opportunity last year when I was at Tala to go into their haunted building, and as much as I'm dying to get into that tuberculosis hospital, anyone that's been out at Trans-Allegheny, and almost everyone that comes out there says the same thing, that they'd love to get in that place. There's just something about it that looks pretty freaky. Again, it's that whole image thing. I don't know if going around and actually having things jumping out at me, how that would kind of alter my experience running around the place in the dark by myself. So I opted against the fake Halloween one and haunted one, and just went ahead for the regular ghost hunts in the locations as well. So again, anyone would like to call in and join us this evening? We're just having a Halloween chat on horror movies, Halloween drama, anything that it's kind of an open night, open microphone, open topic. If anyone has something they would like to call in and talk about, the number is area code 646-929-2384. It's Matthew and William here on a special edition of Thursday Night Dead. I'll say again, don't waste your time on the debate or watching the Steelers-Titans or any of those playoff games. DVR it. You can hit the highlights on the debate and miss all the boring snickering and things that go on in between. And as far as the games go, don't get emotionally, don't waste the emotional involvement. If you care about who wins the game, wait and find out. If they win, then watch it tomorrow. Don't, because if you end up, you'll never get those 2-3 hours of your life back if you watch it, and it ends up being a result you don't like. So again, going along the horror movie routes, I had a kind of a list of the ones that I like, and what I would say on this too, and I would add that they are. I'm not saying these are necessarily the scariest movies out there. These are just ones that if I was having a Halloween party, these would be ones that I think would be good to show. And so, obviously, I think just the whole atmosphere, and it kind of started the whole slasher movie genre. Definitely Halloween's one that I would be a big fan of showing. Prince of Darkness would be up there as well. We mentioned The Ring. We mentioned The Grudge. Those are definitely high up there. Not so much over the scary, but just the overall atmosphere of the Bram Stoker's Dracula one. I think that would be a pretty cool one to see. What are your thoughts on? And I really haven't seen too many of them, but the whole thing hit me about like 5 or 6 years ago with this whole like Hostel and what's the guy with the little puppet dude? I can't think of it now. Saw, and these like super gore movies and things. Have you seen any of those, or what's?
I have not seen any of those, to be honest with you, and I'm not sure why, but I really hadn't sat down and taken the time to watch those. I was going to ask you about The Omen, though. What's your thoughts on that, as far as on your list? Because that little guy freaked me out when I was growing up. Back in 1976. As about my son's age, I guess, and as he is now. So, yeah, that little kid, he gave me nightmares for a while.
I hate to say this, but that is one that I've never seen the full. I don't think I've seen any of the Omens front to back. I've only seen parts. So, and it's definitely creepy when that one girl, I know that one scene where the girl's like yelling to get the guy's attention so that before she jumps off like the third floor window and stuff. Mm-hmm. I mean, just definitely freaky. But that's I can't include that one in my list because I've actually never seen it front to back. So cannot comment. I don't know if anyone in the chat room has watched The Omen. John Cockhill's adding he's not really into the gore movies. I agree. I think. One of the ones that I put on here that I think is not considered necessarily a horror movie, but definitely I would consider it in this group anyway, and I thought they did it very well, was Seven with Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt. I think it's creepier when you don't see the things and it leaves it up to your imagination. And so that was one that just showed enough. There was just enough that you knew some really nasty stuff was going on there, but it left it more to your imagination. And almost all these things, I'd say, what you cook up in your brain's generally worse than what anyone can do, with their special effects and things. And so I think that's pretty good. And John's also adding It. He hates clowns. It's an interesting one. I absolutely loved that book. I read that. I had an internship in college, and I was reading it at lunchtime during my internship. And I absolutely loved that book. And then when it got to the very end and the thing turned out to be a spider, it was so anticlimactic for me. I actually felt like he was writing such an awesome book, and then he got bored of it and just kind of tried to tie it up in like 10 pages, at the end. So, that was such a great book going almost all the way through, and then just kind of messed it up at the end. Now, clowns don't really freak me out too much. Shining bothers me. I got to tell you, the whole scene of the dead girl in the bathtub shower curtain, moving and stuff. See, this is why I don't watch horror movies when I go on investigations, because I have to say I have not, on a business trip, I don't think there's been a hotel room that I've been in where I'm like, if I hear that shower curtain, if I hear that shower curtain open and close, I'm out of here. That scene always pops into my head when I'm in a hotel room, and very, very nasty. And It's interesting. I was just talking about this earlier today with some people. I know a couple individuals. I'm not so much in touch with him anymore, but have actually done what the premise of The Shining was. You know, they actually stayed at lodges during the off season, and were actually like snowed in locations and things like that. And so I never talked to them about had they watched The Shining, was that ever in their head? But it's just kind of an interesting thing. Which speaking of, I can mess around here on this. Give me 1 second. Speaking of The Shining.
Hi, we're the Overboard Twins, and you're listening to Sunday Night Dead. Wanna play with us? Wanna play with us? Wanna play with us?
And John Coghill added that Stephen King's writing The Shining too, so that's awesome. I did not know that. So very, very cool. And yeah, I mean all the Stephen King ones are awesome. I love the Stand and the whole infection thing with that. It actually would be interesting to see, and I actually haven't kept up with some of Stephen King's later stories and things to know whether if he's done anything along these lines or anything. But almost a combo of what was going on with The Stand with like the Walking Dead piece would be very, very interesting. You know, kind of the whole end of the world infection thing with the whole. He kind of went there very briefly. I don't know if you remember. There's a scene in there where I forget all their names, but there was the guy in Vermont that was in the CDC center, and they were trying to deliberately infect him, and he was immune, and eventually everybody died, and he was escaping from the hospital. And when he was going down the stairs, there was a guy below the stairs that kind of reached up and tried to grab him, and I guess he was down there kind of, I guess he went a little nutty, and he was down there kind of eating the other patients and things. And so he kind of went there a little bit, and then, but not all the way. Speaking of Stephen King and movies, one of the most gut-wrenching things I have seen, and this was a great, great short story. I wish he would have turned it into a bigger book, but did you happen to see the movie The Mist?
Is that the one that was just recently released?
Yeah, it wasn't that far. It wasn't that far out.
About 2007?
Yeah, probably around there. Yeah.
Yeah, I just recently watched that one, and that one was killer.
Yeah, I
really
mean,
enjoyed that.
it's one of these borderline things. I don't want to give it away for anyone that, but
spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert. I'll go ahead and say, because I'm going to go ahead and go here. Basically, what happens there is there's like this military experiment thing, and they kind of blow a hole into another dimension. I don't know if they ever really explain. I know in the story they didn't really explain what ever happened, but basically there's kind of like this big earthquake, and this fog comes out all over everything. Well, there's all kinds of weird monsters and creatures that live in this fog, and they all kind of operate by smell. So you're fairly safe if you're like in a car or in a building, but once you're out in the air where they can kind of pick up your scent, these things come and get you. And at the very end, they all escape, and there's, I think it's 5 of them in a car, including a father and a son, and they run out of gas. And so they're stuck in this road. There's fogs all around. They're stuck in the gas. He's got 4 bullets left in the gun. They decide to basically, it's more like with nods and things, but then you see basically the car from a distance and the light from the gun going off. So the guy shot the other 4 people. And he comes out of the car, and he's crying, and he's trying to shoot himself, but there's no bullets in the gun. And he's freaking out, and he's not outside of the car more than 30 seconds when all of a sudden a whole bunch of tanks and army people come rolling down the road, kind of clearing everything out. So if they had waited 30 seconds, they all would have lived because the rescue was right there. And so, again, one of the more, even though it's not something overly scary, it was just one of the whole timing of it, and it was very well done. The ending piece of it was one of the creepier things, or emotionally one of the more disturbing things I've seen in a while. So
oh yeah,
going to throw things out. I see Kelly out there in the chat room. Going to ask Kelly what's to weigh in with us. What's one of your favorite horror movies here? We're heading into the Halloween horror movie season, and particularly, some of the ones out here that we've been talking about are things that probably everybody has seen. But if there's something a little more off or something that not everyone has, maybe not as common movie-wise, that people should be able to check out, definitely want to focus in on some of those as well. So give people kind of a movie viewer's guide for the Halloween season coming up. Second part of the topic as well, if anyone else wants to weigh in, is the whole, and I think, again, this may be a little more controversial because of the area that William and I are in, but I wanted to kind of kick it out there, the whole Halloween season, just harmless fun for kids or evil satanic holiday. So anyone wants to weigh in on that as well, feel free to do so, as well as any other kind of open topics tonight. It's a kind of an open mic night this evening, kind of a round table. Kelly's saying she's a huge fan of the older flicks, House on Haunted Hill, Vincent Price, but then she also liked Rob Zombie's House of a Thousand Corpses. So I have not. I'm tempted. I would love to see some of Rob Zombie's remakes of some of the things that he's done. But again, as I just mentioned, I kind of have my own self-imposed horror movie ban right now, so I'm going to have to wait on some of those. I did like, actually, even though it was, again, another kind of low-budget version, I actually didn't mind the remake of House on Haunted Hill, which came out kind of in the late 90s. That was fairly well done, and but again, those people who know me know I have an affinity for investigating asylums and things anyway, and that movie took place in an abandoned asylum, so that caught my interest as well. Have you seen the House of a Thousand Corpses or the remake of Halloween that Rob Zombie did?
I haven't. Now, my wife, she loves all the original Halloweens. So that's one of the things we do around here is when they start coming on, we start watching them. So, but no, I haven't seen those. I will definitely have to put them on a list. I'm like you. I kind of tend to shy away from them right now myself, but I do watch some on occasion, like The Woman in Black. We watched it when it came out and actually went to the theaters and seen that, and that was pretty good. I don't know if you've seen that one or not.
I have not seen that one. So, and it's funny because one of my children, the one that actually gets the most scared and kind of skittish on some of these things, is the one that usually bothers me the most to watch these things. And so it's kind of funny in that he'll push to watch these things, push to watch these things, push to watch these things, and if he sneaks behind my back and gets to see any of these movies, he usually ends up freaked out about it for weeks and weeks on end. So I also had to have a ban from, again, I have 5 children, quadruplets, and so we, until just really recently, before we had kids, I had horror movies on constantly. This time of year was just horror movie city, and then obviously those are things that you don't want little kids seeing, or even if you do, even if they do end up seeing it, you don't want to end up being up all night. You want to get your sleep, not being up with the nightmares and things. So
being in the bed with you.
Exactly. So I kind of stopped along those lines. Curious, too, to all the investigators out there, and I have seen, kind of interesting in that I've seen, as I mentioned, a lot of kind of ego and condescending posts out there in cyberspace the last kind of a couple of days. So I'm almost afraid I'm opening up a case for drama here. But I am curious to all the people out there that investigate. The movie that was out about 8 years ago, White Noise, with the whole EVPs, and then the things leaving the EVPs that basically, hunted down and killed people and things. Again, kind of a way odd spin on that whole phenomenon, but I was just kind of curious as to what people thought of that as well. The only piece of that I could even remotely relate to, even though hopefully, if I start getting voices threatening me, I'm probably going to at least change what I'm doing. I'm not saying that I would quit, but I would certainly alter my behavior. The guy there with his tapes upon tapes upon tapes upon audio, I could certainly relate to that. I could see myself being like that in a couple of years, the way I'm going with all my files here. Also, John Coghill added that food shopping at my house is a horror story. Yes, it is. We actually just had to install, as crazy as it sounds, we actually had to install a lock on our pantry because the kids were raiding all the school lunch things, and we lose about 2 weeks' worth of school lunch supplies in about 2 days. So we had to start doing the whole, kind of World War II rations things with that. So
we've been there.
Absolutely. So again, number 646-929-2384. If anyone out there would like to call in and weigh in on anything Halloween related. Whether it be horror movies, the holiday itself, any activities, anyone's got any big Halloween activities coming up, or interesting investigations that have happened lately, be curious to hear any of those things as well, or if any other topic that you would like to speak to. Again, kind of an open mic night this evening. Figured we would go ahead kind of subbing in, doing an encore version of Sunday Night Dead, that we would go ahead and just kind of have an open Halloween discussion this evening. So, again, anyone feel free to send in a question on the chat or give me a call at 646-929-2384. Now, he's a little on the late side, but I was supposed to have a celebrity call in and weigh in on some of these things. So, hopefully we get to hear from him. Have not heard on any of my kind of devices here as to him being delayed, so hopefully that ends up all working out as well. I will ask out to John Coghill if he was able to do, we were talking a lot about Pennhurst. Was he able to do the Pennhurst Haunted House yet? I'm assuming they've been up there and have checked that out, or if anyone out there has done the Tala Haunted House, or Rolling Hills, or Waverly, any of the big kind of super haunt locations that do haunted houses this time of year. It's actually their big fundraising time of year, but it's also kind of begins a little bit of the down season or off season for investigating some of these more super haunt locations. So anyone's been able to check out any of those places, please weigh in and let us know. John Coghill, do you think the spirits are stronger closer to Halloween? Well, very interesting on that. As some of you might know, I do the statistical analysis of the evidence reports that come in from Trans-Allegheny, and I'll throw the little plug out there that I would love to do a similar thing at some other locations if some of these other locations start tracking reports from individuals as to what they're seeing and where. And again, I'll add, it's really more than statistics. It's more the probability piece of, it's not necessarily indicating that there is a spirit activity in an area, but if people are experiencing a similar experience in an area, it could point towards what that cause is, whether it's ghost activity or a light or airflow effect. But interestingly enough, we did not see a big spike of activity in the October time frame. So, and this is just very, very rough. I don't have the data in front of me, but at least in that location, it seemed to be more early spring. It seemed to be the hottest time of year. Now, I'm only speaking of that one location. Obviously, I think it's going to vary place to place, and there's so many factors involved in addition to time of year that could influence. My gut feel, as I've done this more and more, seems to lean towards, it seems to be more related to the personality of the people investigating, and certain entities or certain things seem to be attracted to certain personalities more than others, or you could say that some people have, just through kind of honing their senses, are a little more observant of things than others, or if you want to take the skeptical side of that, is some people artificially read into things more than others. So I know it's kind of a long-winded answer on that, but what do you think, William? What's your experience been so far as far as this time of year?
I haven't personally noticed any difference. I think maybe that this time of year, like you say, people watching movies and things like that, it may open up their mind a little bit more to, I don't know if it's something, their mind playing tricks on them or to that extent or anything like that, but it probably makes your senses a little bit more aware, after watching stuff like that. So you may, I don't know, jump to conclusions sometimes on things that may not be there, but as far as investigating, like you say, in the month of October, I haven't noticed anything personally. So, but,
And John, well, I got to agree with this. John says, it could be a million spirits out there on New Year's Eve, and he wouldn't know it because he doesn't do well in the cold. That is one thing I have heard, but I got to say I've heard this from others, and that is the whole idea of things being more active in cold weather. Even though we did get some pretty interesting things happen, that wasn't our experience when we did St. Albans last January. And William, who's I'll say, is much better in cold weather than I am, he didn't like that either. So I admit I'm more of a cold weather wimp. I would rather take the high 90s, low 100 degrees investigations that I've done, and I've done quite a few of those over the cold ones. But something else that you hear a lot of that I would say my experience has been the opposite of is the whole full moon. And people want to investigate on full moons. And we actually were on the Battleship North Carolina during the super moon that happened a couple of years ago, and been on a number of investigations and repeat investigations on full moons and other times. And it may have been just a coincidence, but I will say more often than not, we would have a very if we had a dead night, dead nights would happen around full moons. So, again, I am not correlating, just to be clear here before I start getting funky emails, I am not saying that activity dies on full moons, but based on the experience that I've seen so far, I feel pretty safe in saying that it doesn't appear to have an impact on them. If we certainly don't see a spike in my own personal experience of activity on those days. So John also added doesn't notice an activity around Halloween season, but major increase in people who are all of a sudden ghost hunters. Yeah, there's definitely an increase in interest in this, which I think this has also driven some of the drama that I've seen out there recently, and kind of the snarky posts that I see some people putting out there. I just got to add that from my own personal opinion, I don't think more people involved and more people interested in this is a bad thing. So I can speculate as to some of the things that get some people upset, but again, that's kind of the more popular and broader the area is, I think in general, the more beneficial that is for everyone involved, with the exception of maybe a couple people that had some kind of very kind of self-centered niche kind of carved out that now they feel threatened by. But I mean, in general, I think it opens up more locations. I think it will ultimately result in more equipment being out there. And I'm of the opposite opinion of some of the people out there, that I'm thinking that more people out there trying more things, even if some of the things are rather crazy, that's where you're going to get some aha moments that leads to innovation. Not everybody doing the exact same thing, replicating the exact same mistakes, and just feeding certain people's egos. End of rant. What do you think, William?
Same here. I'm with you on that. In the whole para thing, I just don't know what everybody's beef is, I try to stay out of it personally, you know, because I like doing my thing, whether it may be right or wrong, you know, it's what I like doing. And I do know that when I find things, I know it hadn't been tampered with, you know, it's my stuff kind of thing. So, and you've listened to some of the things I've got and that, you know, can't be explained and stuff, so.
Well, I saw an interesting, and I totally just didn't go there at all, because I don't know the person, I don't know where they're going from, but it was on a thread, and the person had added saying, well, aren't all investigators, ghost investigators and ghost people frauds? So that is something that for the people out in the chat room, and I did get a message, our special guest is calling in, so these are all things that we're going to hit in the second half of our show. Anyone who's familiar with Sunday Night Dead knows at the 10 o'clock hour, do a quick music break, let people hit the restroom, go ahead, grab a drink or anything else. I'm going to go ahead and reload on my drink here. So we are going to play a song here. It's going to be about 5 minutes, and we will be back with William and Matthew and our Halloween special.
Doctor
tonight is Thursday Night Dead. Welcome back, everyone, and thank you for joining us this evening as we're doing a encore version of Sunday Night Dead, and we're having basically just a Halloween open mic night tonight where we're just talking about pretty much horror movies and some of the drama around the Halloween holiday to begin with, and pretty much anything people want to talk to here. We're talking a little bit about the fad of how people get involved in the ghost hunting and the whole paranormal things around Halloween, and then it fades away again. But again, I think overall the interest is a good thing. But I've been told a special guest was going to call in tonight, and I believe I gotta always qualify this. You know, I've had some very interesting crank calls in my lifetime here, so always hold my breath when I do a bring somebody on hot here. But let's see if this is our special guest. Hang on. Welcome to Thursday Night Dead. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, everybody, this is John Madden, the football guy. I was surfing the web, and I came across this cool website talking about scary stuff and all kinds of cool stuff, so I wanted to talk to you guys about some scary stuff. What's going on?
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. John Madden.
Is that some clapping going on, or someone put some fries in the deep fryer?
That's our little. Vincent's not here tonight, so it's actually our studio audience. I have to say, John, if you've ever listened to our show, I have a technical assistant, Vincent. But Thursday night's his undead bingo night, so he's missing this. But he is a huge Raiders fan. He's going to be very, very jealous about the fact that I've been able to speak to you tonight, and he was out doing whatever he does. He's kind of like the demonic Ed McMahon, so kind of a creepy guy, but he eats all kinds of fried stuff. So
the Raiders, the Oakland Raiders. I'll tell you what about the Raiders. You know, a lot of people talk about the states having two different teams or three teams, or you talk about the Oakland Raiders, and then you used to have the L.A. Rams, and then you had the 49ers, and, you know, the Oakland Raiders are a good team. But, yeah, this is John Madden. I'm ready to go.
Well, the Raiders have pretty much haven't been too good since you left. Maybe they need to bring you back. You ever think of returning to coaching?
You know, thought about bringing back Rich Gannon. You know, he's probably one of the last Raiders, probably throw the football, and, you know, talked about coming back to coaching, but I'm enjoying playing the video game. You know, just play the video game, Madden football game is pretty intensive. I actually never really played the game. My kids play it, my grandkids play it, but yeah. So yeah, it's a good thing, and the Raiders are sucking. They're real bad this year.
They have sucked for quite some time here. Sorry to say that, Vincent. So, John, we've been talking about horror movies here tonight. Let me quick flip it over to my kind of co-host for the night, William, Mr. John Madden.
Mr. Madden, how are you, sir?
Hello, William. Hey, you know, it's always good to know a William, because when you know a William, most of the time you know a Bill, because Bill and William, and sometimes people call you Willie or Will, or but you sound like a good guy. You got a good, strong name, William. So it's good to meet you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Same here.
So you watch any horror movies there, Mr. Madden?
You know, when I grew up, we used to watch these black and white movies, a little bang, bang, shoot 'em up, you know. I got a little scared growing up watching these movies. I try to stay away from the stuff that, you know, gets kind of scary, you know, the psycho movies, or the, you know, got a lot of ghosts in it. I'm not a ghost kind of guy. You know, when you talk about ghosts, you talk about scary stuff, and yeah, but you know, I like watching a scary movie every now and then. And this time of year, you get to Halloween, and the kids are out there, and you know, Halloween movies are good as long as I get my popcorn and maybe a little turducken. I like to dunk my turducken in a little hot sauce when I'm watching movies.
That is going to be. I don't know if anyone else out there has ever tried turducken. I have actually never heard of that until seeing that in your the Thanksgiving games in your trailer. Which I have to say about that, I guess you would find it just out of horror movies. I guess just playing airplane would be pretty scary for you, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but you know, a lot of people talk about being afraid to fly, and you know, it all started a long time ago. I was actually up in a treehouse, and my friends and I thought we could build ourselves some wings made out of cardboard, and we just jumped out of the treehouse, thinking we could fly, and it didn't really work out like we wanted it to. And, you know, the next thing that happened was, wham, we fell to the ground.
Yeah, I think I've done that before.
But, yeah, I'm not a good guy. I don't like to fly a lot. You know, taking the cruiser bus everywhere is a safe way to travel. And some people think you're going to die in a car crash versus an airplane. But, you know, you're in a car every day. It's not like you're flying in an airplane every day.
That's true.
And more people walk away from car crashes than walk away from airplane crashes, so I get that.
Yep, that's right. You know, so it's always safe to drive a car, and you know, if you got the money, it's good to have a driver. You know, because when I'm driving down the road, I'm not really driving the car or the bus. Sometimes we have Al Michaels come in, and he'll drive the wheel and take the bus down the road. But yeah, I don't like to fly. Flying's not good for me.
So you're going down the road in the Madden Cruiser, and it's Halloween time of year, and you need to get some good Halloween movies going for just to get in the spirit of things while you're cruising out. What would you pick if you had to pick, like let's say three movies? What would be the John Madden horror movie selections for Halloween?
You know, a good favorite of mine is the movie. Let me think about this. Where there's a guy who I think he's dressed in some kind of suit where he's got a hockey mask or something. You know, he walks around with some kind of hockey mask, and I don't think he's playing wiffle ball. I think he's whacking people with something, and I think it's something Friday 13th or something like that.
Ron Hextall?
Ron Hextall. That's right. Here's a guy who used to play with the Flyers a couple of years back. Ron Hextall. Yeah. You know, maybe it was him. Maybe it's Ron Hextall coming back and whacking people with a hockey stick.
Yeah, I think he got mad that he got cut and was going around offing some people. So I think I know what you're talking about.
But yeah, I like hockey masks. Hockey masks are good, and you know, anything with sports in it. I know there's a couple scary sport movies out there, a little haunted stuff, and you know, one of the movies I just saw. This is kind of a weird movie. Is The Human Centipede. I don't know if you've seen it or heard of it. It's kind of a weird movie. Have you seen that movie?
No.
The Human Centipede.
Anyone out in the chat room seen that? I haven't even heard of that one, The Human Centipede. Anyone out in the chat room seen that one?
The Human Centipede. It came out on the Redbox a couple of weeks back, maybe a couple months ago. This sick guy in the movie is like a doctor or something, and he gets like three people, and he kidnaps them, and he drugs them up, and they fall asleep, and the next thing you know, when they wake up, they're all sewn together. Like the first guy is, they're all on their hands and knees, and the first guy, he's got a mouth and everything else, but the second guy is actually a girl. The woman, her mouth is attached to his butt, and then it goes on to the second person and the third person, same thing, and when, the doctor forces this guy to eat food, and it's a pretty sick movie.
That's a real...
That's a real movie.
It came out in 2010. It's a Dutch horror film.
Yep, that's it. Yep, it's a pretty sick movie. Now, what I like about that movie is nobody's flying airplanes. I don't like to have airplanes in movies because when you have airplanes in movies, you see the crashes, and then people don't want to fly airplanes. But this movie doesn't have that. This movie's got a lot of people that just weird stuff. It's kind of sick. But what a surgeon can do when he knows about stuff, he can sew people together, and it's a scary movie. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, it looks weird.
You got me a little tongue-tied on that one. I did not know about that one. That is interesting. Well, how about we're gonna go to kind of other scary Madden stuff. So if you were in the Madden Cruiser and you had to share a cross-country ride in the Madden Cruiser with one of your football associates, whether it's a co-host or a analyst on another network or another coach, something along those lines, who would be your nightmare travel partner cross country?
Well, you talk about scary movies, and there's a movie a long time ago, one of my favorite movies. And the character in the movie actually came to life. And the character in the movie is named Chucky. Now, he actually lives right now. I work with the guy. He's a good guy. His name's John Gruden. So when you talk about John Gruden, you talk about Chucky. A lot of people don't know that John Gruden is Chucky, and Chucky is John Gruden. They're two of the same guys, and they're kind of weird because John Gruden he's got a weird face, and, sometimes when nobody's watching him, he starts stabbing people. He's like, wait, wow, boom, pow. He's getting everybody. But John Gruden he's Chucky. Chucky is out there to kill people.
All right. Very, very, very interesting. I was also thinking one of the scariest movies that I got to think out there, too, was the summary film for the Dallas Cowboys 2010 season. That's definitely something horrible to watch as well. So to all my Cowboy fans out there, which I'm not one of them. I'm an Eagles fan, so I just like to rub it in.
You talk about Eagles, you talk about these guys that are playing now, a scary player. I'll tell you what, is this guy Michael Vick. Now here's a guy. He can't let go of the football. He's dropping back, moving around, he's getting pounded. The Philadelphia Eagles always have been a great team, but I tell you what, it's scary stuff when you see the players get knocked out, decked. You talk about this guy RPG or PS3 or the Ken Griffey Jr. guy or RG3 from the Redskins. This guy doesn't even know when to throw the football, when to run the ball. It's all about the scary stuff. These guys are getting out there every day on the line, trying to make plays, and it's scary stuff out there. I like to watch scary movies in the Madden Cruiser. We watch, little Psycho or The Shining is a great movie, a classic movie with my buddy Jack Nicholson or Nicholas, or was he the golfer in that movie?
Nicholson.
Yeah. We call him Big Jack, but that's a great movie. It's good stuff.
Well, I'm going to quick throw a plug in here. We kind of had an unexpected turn this evening, but football and ghosts and Halloween is all wrapped up in October, and it is great to get this surprise call from Mr. Madden. If anyone would like to call in, our number is 646-929-2384, or you can send in a question in the chat room. I would say, and I wish I had this loaded on the footage, is a Halloween special on the, I don't know if you've watched any of the ghost shows, but there's a Halloween special from Waverly Hills where a wrestler, it was a live show, and the wrestler thought he saw somebody standing next to him, and he did kind of these 3 big jumps, a yell, and went sprinting down the hallway, and I got to say, a Madden play-by-play of that clip would be very good to awesome to hear. So I got to look. I'm sure I can find that on YouTube and see if I can get that loaded up on here. Maybe sometime in the future we can do a play-by-play of the most infamous dude run moment that I've seen in the shows. Have you seen any of the shows that are out there? Again, a lot of varying opinions out there on these. So, some people love them, some people hate them, but it has brought, good or bad, it's brought kind of attention to, that's a really good word. It has brought attention to kind of this field of study, so.
Well, you were talking about Halloween and the kids, and what is it? Is it a scary thing, or is it just about the kids? And, I think a lot of people these days are just taking things a little bit too far. Because when you talk about Halloween, you're talking Reese's peanut butter cups. You're talking your pillowcase smells like chocolate. At the end of the night, we got chocolate in the pillowcase, and that's what Halloween's all about. If these people out there are thinking Halloween is about worshiping this guy and that guy, and, you get Chucky in there, it's about the kids. We got to remember that that's what Halloween's all about. And being scared, that's part of life. And, scaring people, going trick-or-treating. And, you come to my house, hey, John Madden's house, we're not giving out chocolate. We're giving out tough acting, tenactin. Boom! A lot of kids, a lot of these kids will show up looking for trick-or-treats, and, people give them candy and popcorn and little sugar daddies, sugar babies. We give them tough acting tenactin because, you never know when your feet are going to get the itch or the burn. And, hey, kid, here's some tough acting tenactin. Boom!
Especially, poor costume choices and a long night of trick-or-treating. It could come in handy. Do you still buy your decorations and supplies at Ace Hardware?
Yeah, I do. When I'm looking for, a little fog scene or maybe stuff that glows in the dark, and last year we built our own Halloween display. We used a lot of stuff that we needed from Ace Hardware. Ace is the place. You go in, you get it out, get it done. You build all your stuff. And, I like to put on a haunted house in my front yard, and we get fog, and we get stuff lighting on fire, and, kids are just running all over the place, and, it's a great show, and, Halloween is about the kids, and, we get out there and we do a good job, and these kids are good. Halloween's a good thing.
Well, you need to get down. You need to get down here because talking about Halloween and Reese's peanut butter cups. We just got done with the Dixie Classic Fair here in Winston-Salem, and they pretty much most of the candy bars you can think of, they deep fry them here. So, can I tell you, a deep fried Reese's peanut butter cup is quite an interesting experience.
Deep fried anything. I like deep fried anything. You want to put deep fried chocolate in there, or deep fried shrimp, or it's really good. It just happened a couple of weeks ago. We had a deep fried stink bug. The stink bug fell in the deep fryer, and you dip it in a little batter, wrap around a little bit, and hey, it tastes like chicken. Deep fried fried stink bugs.
Yeah, I was going to say they did deep fried butter, but the stink bug I think beat that. So
deep fried, I tell you what, deep fried oil. You know, you ever try that? You take the oil, you put it in the deep fryer, you wrap it around a little bit, and you put it in a cup. and you,
I'm sure somebody would want to buy it. You know.
And you burn your throat. Deep fried oil is good. It's good for you. It keeps it clean. You know, take a little Combs, take a little Malox, go right through you. Yeah, this is a good thing. Then we're back to the human centipede.
There
Put a little cooking oil in there, wrap it around a little bit. Hey, and deep fried chocolate, deep fried everything. Deep fried.
Yeah. So other than playing the game with your kids and grandkids, what have you been up to? We miss you on the networks. I got to say, it's none of these commentators and none of these sports shows are quite the same as it was with you on there.
Well, you know, I think the analysts out there, or the talkers, or the broadcasters, announcers, you know, they don't know the history of the game. Because when you're talking football, you got to go way back to the roots, and we talked about Bart Starr, we talked about the moon, we talked about Warren Moon, and you know, you got the trees and the saplings, the Warren Sap, and you know, then you talk about you know, this guy Brett Favre, and Brett Favre is a great player. In fact, I think Brett's going to come back sometime and play the game because all these quarterbacks are getting tech. You know, talk about Matt Castle and RG3, and, you know, these quarterbacks of Romo. Brett Favre is coming back, and, you know, it's good to play the game. I feel like a lot of these players just aren't playing like they used to. But, yeah, you know, you talk about these announcers, they don't know what they're talking about.
Interesting. So you, I've heard a rumor. I don't know if it's true or not. Are you doing a lot of martial arts now?
You know, martial arts. I like doing a little kung fu, jiu-jitsu, taekwondo, anything where I need to move around. You know, because I'm in my lazy boy chair every day. I like to get up and do a little jiu-jitsu, a little throwing stars. You ever throw throwing stars? Throwing stars are great. I caught a throwing star right in the head one time. Now, let me tell you something. Wow, it hurt. You know, throwing star or a little kung fu nunchucks, or you know, you ever see kung fu movies? They kind of scare you a little bit. You know, you talk about horror movies and Halloween. Kung fu movies that kind of freak me out. You know, these guys I'm trying to read their lips, and they're doing something with their lips, and I can't understand. And, you know, I think they're talking a different language. I don't know. But I tell you what, horror movies, you know, you guys got a good show here. I tell you what, you're talking about movies and booze and you know, haunted and spirits and you know, ghosts. I don't like ghosts. Ghosts scare me. You know, I like Casper. Casper's a good guy.
Well, we've never, in all our work here, we've never come across Casper, right, William?
No, not yet. Still looking for him.
Any questions for Mr. Madden, William?
You're doing good so far. I mean,
okay. I didn't want to put you on the spot here.
No.
So have you ever, in your jiu-jitsu, have you ever sparred Pat Summerall? Because I think that would be an epic.
You know,
the Madden versus Summerall jiu-jitsu battle would be that would be something interesting to see.
You know, Pat Summerall's a good guy. One of the funny things about Pat Summerall is he wakes up drunk every day. You know, he's drinking every single day, throwing a few back, and you know, he's kind of like a pincushion. You could throw him with throwing stars, and you know, everyth's good. He's you know, Pat Summerall. You know, he's talking like that. You know, he was kind of a weird guy. A lot of people don't know that Pat Summerall is actually a midget. You know, he's a short guy. He sits on a stool every day, and you know, we make fun of him because we like to throw throwing stars at his face, and they go boom.
You're a pretty big guy. So was he during the broadcast stuff? Is he like sitting on phone books or something?
Phone books or maybe some menus from the Outback Steakhouse. These guys are, he's kind of a nice guy who kind of comes to work smelling or stinky or smells like last night's Scrapple. Did you ever have Scrapple? Scrapple's good. Good stuff.
Yes, I have. And William, cause that's kind of a Northeastern thing. Have you ever seen or heard of Scrapple, William?
I have not. No.
Okay.
What is it?
Scrapple.
I'll let John take this.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about Scrapple. Scrapple's everything that's left in the kitchen. You wrap it together. You got the pork rinds, the pork nose. It's all pork. Pulled pork. You got the pork butt, the pork shoulder, maybe a little fat back in there, or pork rinds, and everything's mixed together. And you put it in the frying pan. You put a little oil in there, and you cook it up. Some people don't like it. I like it. Scrapple's good for you. Keep you young and a little high in cholesterol, but it's good. It's good. Scrapple's good, and like to wash it down with a couple of Yingling.
Okay, I can go with that.
you get all the scraps, William.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know exactly how they process it all, but basically what it looks like is just this kind of square gray loaf.
Oh, okay.
They kind of cut little slabs of it off and fry it up.
Okay.
Actually, it doesn't taste too bad, but it's one of those things that you don't want to think about what you're eating while you're eating it, because it's kind of taking all the unappetizing parts of an animal that was cut up, kind of like, the opposite of the human centipede, and mixing it all together and trying to make something appetizing out of it. So.
Okay.
Well, kind of like you guys. You guys like your horror movies. I guess we could make our own movie of a human Scrapple. You get these people, cut them up, and they'll slice them and dice them, and take the scraps and you put them in a little gel form and slap it on the grill, and next thing you know, boom, you're eating your buddy.
It was certainly not high-class cinema, but I believe Motel Hell and, to a lesser degree, Texas Chainsaw Massacre were kind of along that lines. So,
yeah,
good stuff. Hey, this is John Madden. We gotta pull the cruiser over and get some gas here. But I wanted to say to you guys, hey, have a great Halloween and keep doing what you're doing, and maybe we'll catch you the next time.
Sounds good.
Sounds good,
All right,
John.
guys.
Hey, well, thank you very much.
All right, good night, guys.
Good night. So again, a little unexpected surprise there. I wasn't sure what to expect, or if he was going to call in. So that was good and interesting. Never knew that stuff about Pat Summerall.
I didn't either. I'm gonna have to go back and watch some old highlight football shows and see what he's sitting on.
Picture phone books there, and so not much of a horror movie fan, but he did know a movie that I never heard of before, that Human Centipede thing, which I see John Coghill was aware of that one as well. So I'm not sure. I'll have to look that up, but sounds like it's not something I would really want to.
Yeah, I looked it up and looked at a few of the screenshots, and it doesn't look pretty.
Yeah, so you gotta wonder how you can make actually fill a whole movie out of that, though. I mean, how much can you do about people connected to each other? I mean,
exactly.
Yeah. So anyway, what I was getting at was this whole quote I saw, and I don't know the details behind it, but the idea of basically anyone involved with ghosts and things is a fraud. So kind of an interesting idea. Again, it goes to this point that I've seen come up a couple times in the last few weeks, and that is people that are thinking that everything that's going on here is completely manufactured, and just kind of an interesting view of things, because I mean, you hear these stories that come out, and you know some things that have gone on that people have done, and it certainly does impact credibility. But again, I don't think you should let what other people do. Kind of two things here. You don't let what other people do affect your game. So just because somebody else isn't acting with integrity doesn't mean you're not. So I mean, keep doing a good job. And the other part of that too is I think there's too much focus on kind of external validation. Having somebody else come in and say, yeah, what you're doing is okay. I mean, at the end of the day, if you enjoy what you're doing, keep at it.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I do, I've never altered anything that I've found, Everything I find and heard is what I actually went on, I don't try to doctor anything up to make it sound like something, because I'm not trying to put it out there to get validation from anybody, I think maybe you and a couple others are the only ones probably heard all my stuff, and you know what I've got. So
well,
for me personally,
I don't understand what the point, unless I'm missing part of this, I don't understand what the point is on faking these things anyway, because, again, I think some of the drama is some people trying to get some level of recognition over this stuff, but, if you interview or if you hear any of the quote-unquote celebrities talking about, the field and stuff, they all, almost to a person, comes out and says, if you want money, don't pursue this because there's no money in it. So, unless people just want, fame of having a show or something, I don't really know. You got to look at it, what's to gain by faking stuff? I see a huge downside. Don't necessarily see a big upside. As I had mentioned to my one friend a couple weeks ago, I would be a total idiot if I was running around the eastern half of the country spending this money going on these trips just to go ahead and whisper in a recorder. I could do that in my basement and, have friends in other locations email me pictures and put that all together. And I still go back to as far as the theories on it. I'm not saying that it's not invalid, this idea that you're picking up cell phone conversations and things like that, but I'm still waiting to hear the Times Square EVP session. And, I still, one of my trips up north, I rarely ever get around New York, don't really particularly, target going there on things, but I am in Philly. At least, when we go up north, at least maybe about half the time we're up there, we end up somewhere in the Philly area. So I might have to do kind of a downtown, particularly if we go to like Eastern State or something. Kind of do a side trip and do a busy section like Rittenhouse Square or something, and go ahead and do again. Just if it is truly just picking up those signals, you should be able to lay out a recorder and get very similar. Again, not full conversations, not very similar to what people are getting out in these other locations where you're getting, little two-word phrases that sound very similar. And I'm not saying that's not the case. I would just like to see somebody do it and see what they get. When I run my recorder in areas that aren't particularly active, I tend to get nothing but static. So, again, I can only base that on my own personal impressions or experiences. And firsthand from our investigations, we go into other areas and we don't get static. I get, things telling me to F off and stuff like that. So, don't know what you think about any of that.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. Like you say, I wouldn't want to waste money, between gas prices and cost of going to investigate places and time you put into it. I'm like you, I can sit down in my basement and do the same thing and Photoshop stuff and be done with it. But yeah, the whole phone thing, I would be interested in hearing that as well.
let's see. We got a caller coming in here, so let's see. Welcome to Thursday Night Dead. Who am I speaking with?
Hello?
Hello?
Hi.
Hi, who's this?
It's Brianna Anderson? Wait, who is this? Is this Jeff Bellinger?
No, I think you called the wrong number. You're actually on the radio.
I'm on the radio?
Yes, you are.
Welcome.
What radio station?
You're on Dead Air on the Blog Talk Radio. It's a show about ghosts.
Oh, okay. Because I met Jeff Bellinger at Ohio State Reformatory last March, and I saw on Facebook he had this number on there and said to call him, so...
Well, we thank you very much for calling, but Jeff is not on tonight.
Okay.
So maybe it's a different time, maybe it's different, I don't know, maybe he was on another night.
Yeah.
And I know he's not, I know next, tomorrow night, on Club Para, they have Nick Groff and Ben Hansen are going to be on tomorrow night, on that show.
Okay,
I'm not sure who was on earlier in the week, though.
Okay.
So how was Ohio
Thank you.
State Reformatory?
Oh, it was really cool.
Do you have any experiences there?
Not anything really, but my dad was in one of the cells. He walked off by himself, and he said that he heard it sounded like a pipe banged against one of the cells really hard, and that kind of scared him.
Oh, cool.
Cool. Very cool. Very cool. Where's your? You got any other places lined up that you're going to?
Nope.
Nope. Well, you should check out if you were in. That's in about Central Ohio, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you're kind of within striking distance to Waverly. That's a worthwhile place, and then a lot of the places in West Virginia, Trans Allegheny and Moundsville would be worth checking out, and Hillview Manor is just right across the border in Pennsylvania, but I have not been able to do that one yet. That's on my bucket list, but can't.
Mhm. Actually, we live in Wisconsin.
Okay.
Not Ohio.
Okay.
Oh,
awesome. Thank you so much for calling.
Take
care.
Yep. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. William, I was hesitating there for a second because whenever there's a long pause, you know, I've had still the best one is, and I always keep bringing it up just because I get a kick out of it. And you were on with me that night. Was that Fresh Prince of Bel-Air guy?
Definitely.
You know, so there was and I did get one. Maybe about 2 weeks ago. I got cranked, and actually, I was thinking subbing in here and kind of having an open format night. I thought it was kind of prime territory for having some stuff happen. So I was kind of holding my breath there, but looks like we're pretty good here. Kind of going through. I'm missing some stuff. All right, the Pennhurst movie coming out soon. John, you got to elaborate on this.
Yeah.
I think John should call in if he can.
Yeah.
Because I have no idea what the Pennhurst movie is, but I'd be definitely interested in that.
What's the one, Boo? Filmed totally at Waverly Hill.
And I just saw, I thought it was on his group site too, about somebody that was just able to be in one of the other that just did one of the other buildings up at Pennhurst, and so I'd be curious to hear about that as well. I know John wasn't in that group, but I heard somebody was in one of the other places. I thought I saw that on there as well, and I know the Jordan Murphy and Adam Kimmel, that their group was just up in Pennhurst earlier this week. So curious to see how they did up there as well. Waverly, definitely a place worth checking out. although I do believe they absolutely shut down. I think they don't run anything.
Winter.
Yeah, I think they're done during the winter, which actually, that location with the breezeways and kind of the open porches there and stuff, I could see how that could be it's up on a hill. I could see how that could be a relatively unpleasant location in the winter, and I don't know exactly how much bad weather they get up in that area, but I could just imagine, snowdrifts in the spots, which, when you think about it, they used to wheel out these poor sick people with, electric blankets and stuff, 12 months a year, so they'd be sitting out there in the winter, but it's good enough for sick people to be sitting out in, but not good enough for investigators. John did post it was the Devon building that some people were in, so Tim Smith, who was on a couple weeks ago, was in there as well. So again, William, you got to come up with us one of these times when we're up in that area for Pennhurst, because just an awesome place, and I know they're working on getting some of the other buildings lined out, because that was the first thing that hit me. Is there's just so many cool things just in Mayflower, Mayflower building alone, and then you have all these other buildings that just, who knows what you would get in those places. Very much like, Tala always hits me with some of the other areas. So, all right, so John's adding Hillary Duff's sister, who I believe was in, what was that movie? Vote for Pedro. Napoleon Dynamite. I believe she was in. I believe she was the blonde cheerleader, or they did that sign like the sign language thing in Napoleon Dynamite. That was Hillary Duff's sister. She's in the Pennhurst movie. Interesting. So I'm wondering what I gotta look into that. I'm wondering what the Pennhurst movie is going to be. I also still need to look up that book that Katie Hewitt had referenced about from the patient that was in Pennhurst, talking about the people coming out at night and the patients beating other patients and some of the things that are going on there. So definitely interesting stuff.
Yep.
So I would be inclined, as much as I said I don't watch horror movies too much anymore, and this kind of goes completely counter to what I've been saying earlier, I'd be inclined, depending on what the type of movie is, to see something if it was out of location that I've been at.
Definitely.
But again, if it was more like a historical and something going on, as opposed to The Walking Dead running around the place or something. So I'll definitely have to check that out, the Pennhurst movie. And then Boo, I don't know that one either, but Waverly's a pretty cool place, so I can see that being a neat set. I'm wondering, I got to look this up. There was one on Sci-Fi Channel, and it was not a high-budget thing at all. Those Saturday night sci-fi horror movies aren't it's not Steven Spielberg again on these things, but some of them are pretty interesting. And I think it was called Crazy Eights. And I was curious if you remember, someone out there is going to know the name of this place. Ghost Hunters did an investigation out in the Northwest. I even want to say it might have been called like Northwest Hospital. It was in Washington. It was a mental institution. The biggest thing they caught from that area was what appeared to be a very, very tall shadow, like 7-8 feet tall in the one stairwell. And just by the look of their investigation and the look of the layout of that movie, it looked like it possibly was filmed on that site. And I'm just curious if it was. So actually, this just kind of occurred to me here when we're talking about movies shot at these other different locations. So I got to check that out and see. Also, although he claims he's never had a paranormal experience, so I think he's been approached to be on a bunch of shows, and so I figure it's probably not worth it. It's definitely worth checking out the Opacity site, where there's a guy there, takes awesome pictures. But he gets into these locations. Again, I'm not advocating trespassing or sneaking into places, but it's pretty cool what this guy does. He gets in and kind of documents the inside of a lot of these places before they get knocked down. And he's been in a lot of asylums, a lot of different, back home for anyone in the Bethlehem area that might be listening in tonight or listening to the archives. He actually has a series of photos from Bethlehem Steel before it got knocked down. Pretty interesting there. And a lot of the institutions in the New York area, which there's some pretty interesting places, some of which are in the process of being demolished right now. So definitely worth checking out. So, so what's your plans for, you got any plans for Halloween?
Nothing other than with the kids going out trick-or-treating, doing the same old thing. But I don't know of any family get-togethers or anything like that. So, I think my daughter she's in the drama club at high school, so I think she's got a play going on, so we may have to split it half and half there. So,
yeah.
But
well, I don't think I'm going to be doing the. I don't think it's going to be running on Halloween. So we're hoping to do the whole trick or treat and set up something here for the trick or treat folks. But I am going to be the next couple weekends again, kind of doing the haunted house thing. So I think I'll be trying to scare people. And so
you're going to be at the hayride?
Yeah, it's. I don't think it's a hayride this year. I think it's a walkthrough. It used to be in the past a fundraiser for my daughter's softball league, and they kind of it's kind of changed hands and who's running it. But I was known as being a pretty scary guy, which I don't know whether that take that as a compliment or not. But they asked me to continue to scare people, so I enjoy doing it as long as my voice holds up. So.
Yeah.
Go ahead and do it.
I hear you.
Well, William, thank you very much for being on with me tonight. It's,
more than welcome. Thanks for having me.
Again, this was kind of a last-minute subbing in here, but I thoroughly enjoyed doing it. I always like being on here. I always like talking to people and replying on the chat. So I want to thank everyone for listening in tonight, and thank you for our callers. And so Sunday night, anyone who wants to listen to Sunday Night Dead, we have Emerald Coast Paranormal Concepts on. They're a great team and have some interesting things to cover there as well. And look forward to that. That is at 9 o'clock on Sunday. Tomorrow night, Riley Black and Antonia Eden on Club Para, the Para Lounge, is going to have Nick Groff from Ghost Adventures and Ben Hansen from Factor of Fate. So definitely a great show to listen in on those as well. And we also have the debut of Resurrection Radio on Saturday night with Laura Calhoun. So check that out as well. Again, I want to thank William. I want to thank all the people in the chat room and everyone for listening this evening. Have a great week, and we will talk to you on Sunday. Good night, everyone.
Good night, Matt.
the world's most interesting zombie. I don't always listen to internet radio. I'm usually having friends over for dinner. But when I do, I listen to Sunday Night Dead with my good friend Matt. Stay hungry, my friends.